Guanyin begins marriage. Someone who can be your husband in this life. You have these three kinds of causal debts in your past life. When you were still at night, looking at the sleeping pillow beside me, have you ever wondered for a moment? How could I ever marry him in my life? Where did the connection between us come from? It's clear in the sutras. Everything in the world is empty. Cause and effect are not empty. What you think is accidental, in fact, it has already been arranged. You think it is fate. It's actually debt. Buddhism speaks thoroughly. The marriage between husband and wife is not pure love. Not an easy choice. It is the karmic newspaper left over from the past life. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva's compassion begins. Someone who can be your husband in this life. I'm not here to repay you, just to collect your debt. Now that's a little cruel. But it's over. The helplessness and deep meaning in thousands of marriages. Some people say that marriage is the grave of love. But from Fury's point of view, marriage is not a paradise for love at all. Or hell. It is the ashram that weaves at night. Two people walking together, not to keep each other warm, but to pay off each other's debts. Appreciation supper. Even wish. In the Saha world, 6 paths of reincarnation endless. All self-imposed relationships are the manifestation of cause and effect. You are married to someone in this life. Even if it's just a short-term fate. Even if that person has already left. The traction behind this, it can't be explained in this life. It comes from an unfinished love in the past. A deep favor. Or a difficult fate. You see, some couples are in love from the start. Stay together until old age. Follow you. Never separate. Enviable. But some people share the same dream as husband and wife. Torment each other. Endless quarrel. It's not hard to keep. So, what went wrong? Love is not deep enough. Or personality incompatibility. Buddhism doesn't see it this way. Buddhism says that there is no fate to get together. No debt. You will be married to this person in this life. It's because there is an account between you. Or you owe him. Or he owes you. No, not yet. Not light, not worth it. And on a deeper level. Marriage. It's not up to us. From the perspective of the origin and destruction of Buddhism, the fate of husband and wife, as early as in previous lives and even earlier reincarnations, it was planted because some of these sounds are like spring breeze. Be a significant other in this life. Some cut bones like iced knives, turned into the hardest disaster of my life. Bodhisattva made it clear. Marriage is not a blessing. Debt. Can become husband and wife. Most are not here to repay. It's to collect debts, not to pay back. It's a complaint. Love and hate, joy and sorrow. It's all hidden in these 3 British government bonds. And we are always unaware of it. Started a seemingly marriage. Is it a journey to pay off debt? Some people are still enlightened. Turn your wishes into goodness. Turn suffering into repair. Finally, he walked out of his own path of cultivation. Some people resent. They continue to build. Renewal of unfinished karmic debts in the next life. Over and over again. Never ending. The bottom line is this. The key is whether you understand cause and effect or not. Can you see Chuanyuan chair? So, what we're going to talk about today. Not the romance of love. Not marriage skills. Isquan, the 3 causal debts of Shian Bodhisattva's compassion. Love debt, love debt. The 3 types of resentment debt. Between you and your husband. The deepest past life pull. Understand these 3 debts. You can understand the encounter between you. To achieve each other. Or come for supper to repair my heart. You may also be on the road to marriage. No more persistent. It's about coming out of it. Out of compassion. Even turning suffering into pleasure. Would you like to take a look together now? What kind of causal debt is hidden in your marriage? The first kind of causal debt is love debt. Past life for love. Get married in this life. Wife, have you ever felt this way? Meeting for the first time, you think his eyes are familiar. As if I had seen it somewhere. Although life has just begun to be anxious. But there is a sense of familiarity that cannot be explained. I don't know why, it is an inexplicable trust in my heart. Close to even willing to give. Some people say it's fate. But in the eyes of Buddhism, it's more like a reunion of a debt from a past life. The Dharma is so thorough that it's empty. Only night is not empty. You will be married to someone in this life. Probably not from this life. It is the cause of the love planted in the previous life. Nothing came of it. Let's continue this relationship in this life. This kind of love is what Buddhism calls the gloomy night. Haunted by emotion. Trapped by obsession. The more you want. Instead, the less complete. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva's compassion begins. The previous life was perfect. The dream continues in this life. That sounds like poetry, but actually, it is a portrayal of the true experience of many couples. The hardest thing for many people to let go of in their lives, it is often this kind of love that cannot be. The hard to keep emotion. You think you love him as a person. In fact, what you love is the unfinished fate of vegetarian food. Such couples often start with enthusiasm. Passion. Inseparable. But over time, problems gradually emerge. Feelings become volatile. They were often suspicious. Contradiction. Why is this happening? Because of the nature of these relationships. In fact, it is an unpaid love debt. This debt may be due to your deep love for him in a previous life, but failed to protect him to the end. Or maybe he once fell in love with you. I swear to compensate you in the next life. No matter what kind. You will meet again in this life. Are destined to be entangled. Attract each other. Torment each other. You think this is love. It's actually debt. You think you are pursuing happiness. Actually, you are being propelled by an unfinished obsession. Buddhism calls it love. Not wrong, but once infected with greed, desire, control, depend on it, then this love is no longer a pure fate. It becomes the cause of reincarnation. A lot of people ask, what should I do? Can I love him? Of course, you can love, but Guanyin reminds us that love is not possession. It's about letting go, not paying off debts. It's the beginning of enlightenment. What do you mean let go? Not telling you to leave. It's about letting go of the desire to control the other person. Let go of the hope that he must be as you wish. It is marriage that you can spend time with him. But whether we can stay together for a lifetime is a practice. If you don't fix it, if he doesn't change, this life cannot be fulfilled. Then this love debt will continue into the next life. Become a deeper wild. There used to be a women's bedroom to a private dormitory. She said her husband was very kind to her. But the two often quarrel for no reason. After a few days of the Cold War, there will be a sudden reconciliation. He didn't understand why this marriage was so volatile. The mage asked him when you first met your husband, "Does it feel like you've seen him?" He nodded in surprise. The mage smiled and said that this is a sign of love debt. This is not the first time you have met in this life. It's the unfinished words of a previous life. I will continue to talk in this life. This is the mystery of love debt. Seems romantic. In fact, the universe is arranging a reckoning in England. Many people pursue the happiness of love all their lives. But I don't know that the hardest part is not finding the right person. But in the face of cause and effect, can you maintain awareness and compassion? When you understand what's behind this marriage, in fact, it is a debt of love from a previous life, then you will no longer be attached to whether he treats me well or not. Is he worth it? I asked myself, how am I going to pay this debt? How to fulfill this relationship? The ideal outcome is that you practice in love. Realize in love. The debt is paid, and the grace is also reported. The heart is clear, and the love is naturally complete. But if you were blindly greedy, I was holding on to it. Even love begets hate. Create industry out of hatred. Then this love debt will not be paid off. It will continue when it comes. You changed your face. He changed his identity. Maybe he became your child. You become his parents. Keep worrying. Can't let go, can't get out. Can't jump out of the wheel of reincarnation. So, Bodhisattva will remind us that if we can love, we can also let go. If you can stop, you can also break. Marriage is not about making you happy. It allows you to see yourself in past lives. What do you owe? What are you clinging to? What should you learn? Love debt is the sweetest debt. It is also the heaviest debt. Can be enlightened in the piano. You can be truly transcendent. If your life is full of love and hate with your husband, why don't you stop and think about it? Are you still in an unfinished relationship? Should you also let go of a little obsession? Let love come closer. Make the heart more comfortable. Then your love will not become karma. It becomes Tao. And this marriage. It is also possible to move from debt to true love. The second kind of causal debt. Zheng Xiaodan. Love in this life. Marriage. Some people walk in for love. Some people walk in for responsibility. But there is also a kind of person. Obviously, this marriage is not so happy. It's bitter at times. But I won't let go. Unwilling to leave. Others don't understand. Think you are stupid. But you just have an indescribable feeling in your heart. I couldn't leave him. Why? Because you're not in love with him. I'm paying him back. This is how Avalokiteshvara started. The second type of marital causal debt. Comfort debt is simple to put it bluntly. He was kind to you in a previous life. In this life, you come to repay your love. From a Buddha's perspective, grace and resentment have the same traction. It's not just people who do bad things who will cause and effect with you. Someone who has been very kind to you will continue to meet you in the next life. Only this time, it's not a debt collection. It's you who come to pay. Let's say you were dying in a previous life. Make him take care of you. Or maybe you've been trapped in evil. Make him give up everything to save you. Even some deeper marriages. The reputation he sacrificed for you, family, and even life. That kindness was not complete. No return is clear. You may regret. may also be ashamed. So in the night wind of reincarnation in the afterlife, this unfinished friendship was brought here. It has become the marriage of your life. You entered into marriage with him, not attracted by love. It's driven by the feeling of being rewarded. You may not love him particularly, but you will be willing to accompany him. Take care of him and sacrifice yourself, because you think it's what I should do. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva at the beginning of compassion. In his previous life, he sacrificed his life for you. You are by his side in this life. This sentence seems gentle at first glance, but there is a deep causal pull. In the eyes of the world, such a marriage can be confusing. Why are you willing? The heart alone takes on the responsibilities of the family. Why do you know this relationship is unfair? But never blamed him. Why do you always say he's not bad? Just bad luck. The answer is probably that you are not simply in love with him. You are repaying. But here's the problem. Does kindness have to be rewarded by marriage? Buddhism says that repaying kindness is good. That's true, but without the care of wisdom. It's very easy to compile. You may give while being wronged. Patience. After a long time, repayment became a sacrifice. Love has become a shackle. You wanted to blame, but created a new obsession. Become a new one in the next life. So the real repayment. It's not about sacrificing yourself to fulfill each other's dependence, but with compassion and wisdom, to achieve each other's liberation. That is to say, you can take care of him, accompany him, but don't be fascinated. If you lose yourself, you can repay the favor. But don't compromise. Buddhism emphasizes equality of cause and even if you're here to repay, but also with equality, mindfulness to report. Otherwise, you will give too much. The other party can't afford it. Instead, it created another unbalanced night. Like some people always think of your husband in marriage. Decades as a day. Hard work. But in the end, it wasn't gratitude. It was ignored. Even betrayed. Why? Because they're not ready. Accept your great restoration. You shoved him. He can't take it. They rebound. So repayment also depends on the timing. It is more important to be aware of the way you see. You are here to repay, not to be the other person's emotion rub. You are the source of a friendship, not to let myself fall into emotional shackles. This is one of those things. It's the double rhyme of wisdom and compassion in Buddhism. There is another situation worth noting. Some people know that their marriages long since come to an end. But he refused to leave. Always saying, I can't leave him. He can't do it alone. This belief, often it is the unfinished kindness from the previous life. The deep sense of responsibility in this life. With guilt. If you feel the same way, you might as well stop and ask yourself, my dedication to him, out of love, or out of an indescribable sense of debt repayment? If you find that you are paying off a debt, then congratulations, you're starting to wake up. But remember, Bodhisattva will not ask you to fulfill your grace through suffering. Love Buddha only wants you to be wise in love. Be at ease in the garden. You can marry him in this life. Maybe it's more than just love. It's a chance to repay. If this opportunity is well used, you will untie each other at night. But if you use it the wrong way, just blindly pay, then the relationship will become a new round of pain. So, if you feel your relationship with your husband like a doomed weight, let's try to look at it from Fury's point of view. Maybe you don't love deeply, but how much you owe. But don't be afraid, knowing is a turning point. From today onwards, love with awareness, hug with compassion, guard with wisdom. Perhaps this kindness will not only be repaid, it can also be transformed into the cleanest in your life, the most comfortable period of kindness. This is the deepest compassion in the beginning of the Bodhisattva. Let you build a fulfilling path with a grateful heart. The third kind of causal debt, resentment debt. I used to resent, come back to Tao Bao in this life. There's an old saying that it's not that enemies don't get together. You may not believe it. Noisy between husband and wife. Love-hate entanglement. A lot of times it's not personality incompatibility. It's not bad life. It's not that the marriage went wrong. But you're not here to talk about love at all. I'm here to clear the account. In Buddhist causality, resentment is also a kind of nightly traction. Death doesn't mean it's over. If there are strong emotions unresolved after death, such as resentment, guilt, anger, revenge, these years will enter the time of LA with the time of the gods and attract the right people to meet again. It's just that this time, it's not necessarily the enemy. May become your husband, even your bedside. This phenomenon is clearly stated in the Buddhist scriptures. Hatred continues. Endless life. So you think you are marrying your husband. In fact, it is an enemy in a previous life. You thought you were here to fall in love. Actually, to clear the debt. Revenge. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva humbly pointed out. Husband and wife keep arguing. It's not that enemies don't get together. Seemingly simple sentence. Learn to talk about the pain and nights of many people in marriage. Let's see. A few common types of this type of resentment debt. There is an inexplicable revulsion at the sight of the sign. But I can't tell you why. After marriage, little things can be turned upside down. It's hard to have true trust in each other. Often suspected of mutual puncture, even torture each other. Can't be separated? They don't close. Been pulling consumption. But it can't end. This marriage seems like a disaster. In fact, there is a profound causal showdown behind it. Some people may have hurt each other in previous lives, betray each other, even directly kill the other party. This allows the other party to take revenge, not necessarily kill for kill. Violence is violence, but in the most excruciating way. Day after day, year after year in marriage. Wear you to death. Maybe he's been cold and distant to you in this life. Don't want to be close. Maybe you always feel that what you do. He didn't like it. Always want to find fault. Or maybe you love him deeply. He will always only avoid and hurt you. You are suffering. Unwilling but unable to let go. Why? Because of the unresolved grievances between you. Love debt outstanding. Leaf margin not turned. Buddhism talks about 3 generations. It's not that you did something bad today. There will be retribution tomorrow. It may be in the next life. Even mature in the next life. So today, you hurt each other in your marriage. In fact, it may be in the process of completing a reincarnation, unfinished confrontation. Many people ask, Is such a marriage hopeless? Is it just painful to death? No such marriage. On the contrary, it is the one who has the best chance of cultivating positive results. Because behind hate is love. It's just that this love is twisted. It was rendered. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva begins to transform grievances with love, change jobs with resentment. It means that no matter how deep the grievance is, it can also be resolved with compassion. Karma repetition. As long as there is resentment can be turned into training materials. The question is whether you are willing to turn. Can you let go of my hurt heart? Turn into a heart that I wish to be free. Unwind a resentment debt. The best way is not to fight back. Not patience, not to escape. It's 2 words, compassion. You have to understand the reason why he became like this in this life. It's because he also has pain in his soul. You come to him. Maybe it's to help him relieve the pain. Original flavor. So you don't have to aggrieve yourself to please him. But you can choose to be forgiving. Deal with the relationship. You may not be able to change him, but you can stop being led by his emotions. Maybe not immediately reconciled, but you can stop creating hatred in your heart. When you are no longer angry. One less traction at night. When you learn to forgive. Each other's karma is slowly loosened. This is what Buddhism says about turning one's mind. You can change jobs. The wish puppet you thought. If you are willing to make a vow to change careers, then it is no longer a bad fate to seek revenge. It's a dojo to help you practice. What you think is revenge, if it can be resolved with compassion. Instead, it was an opportunity for soul redemption. Bitterness in marriage. A lot of times, it's not the wrong object. It's that we forgot about the relationship. In fact, I came to practice. Buddha will not give you the wrong person. It will only give you the person who has the best chance to break through the experience. You can get over her. You are also crossing yourself. So if you find that you and your husband are always arguing, always angry, always can't let go, let's think about it. Is this marriage the country I created in my previous life? Should I end it with compassion in this life? Hate. It will only make you have to continue to be his wife in the next life. Compassion. It is possible to bring this fate to a successful conclusion. Never see you again. No longer entangled. No more reincarnation. This is the 3rd causal debt. Resentment debt. It is also the most difficult of the 3 kinds of husband and wife marriages. The one that needs wisdom the most. But also because it is difficult, the most valuable practice. May you see through the wish and turn it into a wish. May your business become moral. May you not be lost in suffering and awaken. Then your marriage is no longer a debt. It's a clean path of practice. It is often said that marriage is the grave of love. But in Buddhism, marriage is not just an extension of love. It's not just 2 people living together. It is an opportunity for causal light acid. It is a dojo for one's soul cultivation. In the wisdom of the Buddha, husbands and wives are not here to have fun, here to practice. On the surface, you are significant others. In fact, it is essentially the relationship between creditors and debtors. It is the relationship between the Lord and the restorers. Who will you marry today? He will marry you. No accident. It is your past tense, and many things have been. The cumulative arrangement of the night. These nights are not empty talk. It will be truly implemented in your relationship. your interaction, even your quarrels, pain tolerance and sacrifice. We previously discussed 3 types of marital causal debt: love debt, kindness debt, resentment debt. Many people will say that marriage is not very difficult. Why do you feel like you're committing a crime? Yes, marriage is really hard. But suffering is not a bad thing. From a Buddha's perspective, the starting point of hard time practice, it's an opportunity to change careers. Some couples are here to pay off their love debts. So you will encounter a period of love that is very hard. Love deeply but walk very tired marriage. Some couples are here to repay their kindness. So you will show unconditional care and dedication to your significant other, even if the heart is not happy. Some couples come from resentment and debt. So you spend your life arguing, but still can't let go. But no matter what kind of debt, as long as you can understand, if you can see it clearly, it will become the information for your practice, and no longer the karma of your life. Let me give you an example. You quarrel with your husband today, very aggrieved. Why is he always so cold and inconsiderate? But if you change the perspective, go see, is this a past life where you were ruthless to him? In this life, you will have a taste of being ignored. Or you owe him a favor in a previous life, what he came to ask for in this life, and you are giving and giving. Pay off that bill bit by bit. Buddhism teaches that everything is created by the heart. It's the same that you look at it with a different heart. It will produce a completely different national newspaper. If you use a complaining heart, this marriage will only get worse. But if you use your aware heart, cultivating heart, then the relationship becomes a mirror. When you see your knight, even get rid of obsession and greed. Slowly move towards wisdom and compassion. You will find, it turns out that every dispute in marriage, it's actually to remind you that you're paying off your debt. Every tear, it's all cleansing your past namelessness and obsession. Every compromise, not wronged yourself, but you are spinning a night. End a relationship. Think about it this way, your marriage is not a tied-down life. It is a dojo for soul cultivation. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva is merciful. In the beginning, all our origins are cause and effect. Missed? No debt. You and significant others are not miserable, but late at night. But it's not for shopping either. It's for profit. Look at the couples who can grow old together. It may not be harmonious from the beginning. Most of them have weathered the storm, running in with each other and gradually letting go of self. Achieve each other. That's called meditation. True practice. It's not that you hide in the mountains alone to meditate and chant scriptures, but in the crowd, in the family, in the midst of 3 meals a day and quarrels and cold wars. Close your heart. Photo your own night. Cultivate your own compassion. If you understand this, I'm not obsessed with winning or losing. Ask yourself, am I creating a new business at this moment? Still working. I'm hurting each other. Still in a happy marriage? When you can see with this awareness every time, marriage, it's no longer a life responsibility that wears you out. It's the closeness that helps you grow. You will find, it turns out that marriage is not for enjoyment. I'm here to practice. Some marriages teach you to let go. That's a debt of love in a previous life. Some marriages teach you to cherish. It's the reward of comfort. There are other marriages that you endure. Reflection on compassion. It's the resentment of your previous life to resolve. 3 debts, 3 paths of practice. None of them are easy, but each one leads to liberation. Buddhism doesn't teach us to escape marriage. It teaches us to see our own hearts through marriage. See your own obsession through pain. See your own night through relationships. That's when you realize the so-called husband and wife, not the company of a man and a woman, but 2 souls. They are meeting on each other's journey of achievement. Complain when you pay off your debts. That marriage was happy no matter how it ended. You might grow old together, may also be separated, but the cause and effect deep in the soul has ended. No need to meet again. Then your heart will be truly at ease. That's when you really understand. It turns out that marriage is not a trick of fate. It's about causal compassion. Many people ask questions all their lives. Why is it more painful for me to be married than to be single? Why is marriage different from what I thought? Shouldn't be happy? Is it sweet? Actually, Buddhism has never regarded marriage as a pleasure. In the eyes of Buddhism, husband and wife are not here for pleasure, but the deepest unjust creditor. It is also the most important spiritual marriage. We often say that couples quarrel, noisy at the end of the bed, but sometimes you find not all couples end up arguing with each other. Some people have been arguing for decades. Some people are like strangers. Some people even go to extremes. Lose-lose. This is not just a question of personality, but Yuli's previous view. She and Bodhisattva once said that husband and wife are not a battlefield, but the dojo's heart is merciful. Husband and wife can become Buddha. This sentence seems ordinary. It is the wisdom that awakens millions of sentient beings. You think you married her to separate your family. Have a baby. Have a day. But actually, you have entered a practice field intertwined with cause and effect. And your target audience is actually the person who helps you practice. It was the Buddha who arranged for you to be the closest to your body, the most challenging state of mind. Guanyin Bodhisattva teaches all living beings to have no bright heart. To fix Pocahontas. This brings happiness to each other. The pain of being removed. Rejoice in each other's growth and good deeds. Letting go of obsession and control. Give each other space and freedom. And these for mindsets are not just for chanting in temples. It should be used in the marriage you spend every day with. Think about it. If you can treat each other with kindness every day. No demanding, no blaming. It's about tolerance. How can the atmosphere of marriage be cold? If you can see each other's vulnerability with compassion. If you're immature, you'll be more understanding. Instead of caring. Happiness can make you feel happy for the progress of the other party, rather than extreme or dissatisfaction. And the hardest part is giving up. Are you willing to let go of the desire to control? Don't turn marriage into a shackle for each other. It's a practice of being at ease with each other. You might say I have. I've been very tolerant of him. But he still doesn't change. Guanyin will say that what you practice is not compassion. It's about patience. True compassion is the willingness to understand. The reason why the other party is like that, it's because he's suffering too. Many times, we are very angry with outsiders. Be polite to strangers. Only for those closest to you. Get angry at every turn. Complain about dislike. Why is that? Because you forgot. This person next to you. Not just your husband or wife. It is the manifestation of your yili. It is the cause and effect of your previous life. Buddhism says that unjust relatives are equal yili. Follow you. If you have no deep hatred, it is impossible to become husband and wife. The reunion of a lifetime. In fact, I'm here to share that love. Make a happy conclusion to that account. If you treat marriage as a battlefield, I think about winning and losing every day. It doesn't matter who pays more and who sacrifices more, then this marriage will ultimately only fail both parties. Love is gone. The merits of cultivation are also missed. But if you treat marriage as a dojo, treat the other person as you are ashamed and humiliated. Cultivate compassion and cultivate wisdom. Then no matter how hard it is, your heart will also gradually soften in the process. Gradually become enlightened. You'll see he's not the one to make me suffer. But let me see the person who is persistent. You will also find, when I changed, the other party has also changed. This is called a shift in the heart and the world. The greatest fear in marriage is not that the other person is bad, but you use the wrong heart. If you always want to change the other person, why don't you ask yourself first, have I changed it myself? If you always say that the other person makes you suffer, why don't you ask about this pain? What am I fixing? Marriage is not a confrontation. It's about two hearts learning from each other. The process of mutual achievement. When you consider it a practice, it becomes a priest when you treat it as torture. It really becomes hell. Guanyin Bodhisattva is the most compassionate. I am also most willing to help. He taught us that it's not about leaving a marriage to be pure. It's about being pure in your marriage. You endure humiliation in firewood, rice, oil, and salt. Cultivating compassion in the noisy. Cultivate wisdom in heartbreak and disappointment. In the end, not only did the marriage succeed, also complete your own path of practice. So, never ask me again if I should give up my marriage. You should ask me what I have learned in my marriage. What is complete? Transformed what? If you really understand this level, then not only can you get out of the pain, you can also help each other escape the night sea of reincarnation together. This is what the Bodhisattva said, if you look at it with Buddha's eyes. All sentient beings and unrighteous relatives are transporters. Your husband, your wife. It is the most important object of your practice in this life. Not in the mountains. It's in your home. The battlefield is not in the other side's heart. And in the heart, you can't let go. If you change your mind, home is a pure land. If you don't turn around, Buddha is also difficult to save. Some people ask why I married him. But it feels harder and harder. Some people cry and say, he's not my ideal husband at all. Why is it him? These words. In fact, there is a deeper problem hidden. We see marriage as a vehicle for the pursuit of happiness, rather than an opportunity for British spiritual practice. Buddha said that the relationship between husband and wife you think. In fact, it is the cause of the previous life, fruit of this life. This sentence exposes the truth behind marriage. You thought you met him today. It's because he just happened to be in your life. It just so happens that the two are in love. Just let it go. But in Buddha's eyes, that's not just right. It's just your turn to pay off the debt. Pay back this fate. We talked about 3 kinds of causal debt earlier. Love debt, kindness debt. Resentment debt is full of tenderness. Some are affectionate. There are also love-hate entanglements. But either way, their essence is the whirlwind of causal karma. Unsettled accounts emerge in this life in the form of marriage. When you put your heart into it. So your husband, maybe not the idealism you dreamed of, but he must be the best match in your life. This pair is not a conditional multiple match. It's not that the personalities are more complementary. It's your nightly entanglement. Cause and effect. Fate naturally arranges for you to meet again. He's your husband in this life. Not necessarily to make you happy. It is likely to let you see your inner persistence. Fear, control, anxiety. Every dispute between you. Holding on to every tear. The helplessness behind every silence. It's all cause and effect reminding you. You are reckoning with the past. Then when you understand this layer, you will understand. Instead of asking him why he treated me badly, it's better to ask yourself, what relationship did I have with him in my previous life? How do I translate this cause and effect? A person with a true Buddhist heart. I don't see marriage as suffering, but you will see the lessons of the practice in it. Sometimes it's about compassion. Sometimes it's learning to let go. Sometimes it's learning to let go and fulfill. And the key to all this, it depends on whether you are willing to let go. How should he treat my obsession? How can I repair myself? If you always focus on the other person's fault, marriage is always a waste. But if you put every quarrel, are seen as the manifestation of karma, treat every heartbreak as a test of spiritual practice, then you not only grew up in the marriage, I also learned in marriage. Many people don't realize until the end. The purpose of marriage is not to have someone, but learning to let go of my knowledge in love. Developing wisdom and compassion in relationships. The greatest compassion of Guanyin Bodhisattva. Not for you to find a significant other, but to keep you in an imperfect marriage. See your perfect self. The Buddha doesn't guarantee that you won't suffer, but it will give you a fate with light in suffering. Let you grind in pain. Grind away your obsession. Realize in exhaustion. Realize your compassion. When you really understand British government bonds, no longer willing to look at each other. Stop defining marriage with bitterness. Then you will suddenly find, it turns out that I can love someone freely. It's not that the other party has become better. How about you stop needing the other person? You will be satisfied. You know he's your cause and effect. You didn't come to ask him to change. It's about fixing yourself. You can give love, but not attached to the result. I would rather accompany. Don't ask for anything in return. Such a marriage is a truly liberating marriage. This is how you really love someone. Love with compassion, not with desire. This marriage is no longer a battlefield of emotional tension. It was an ashram where they went together. May you enter into marriage, no longer just a dream of loving someone. It is the awareness that comes from the break. May you not be lost in love. Free from the night. Achieve from fate. The wisdom of Guanyin is compassion. A compassionate marriage will bring forth the flower of wisdom. When you stop thinking about running away from your marriage, it's about learning to get out of a marriage. Then you are on the road to liberation. And finally, let me give you a word about the relationship between husband and wife in this life. Whether it is debt or resentment, the ultimate goal is the same. Let you learn compassion in love. Learn to let go. Learn to become enlightened in principle. May you let go of your obsession. Repair the light. Treat marriage as a spiritual exercise. It's worth meeting in this life.